So we have our two players here spawning down in the bottom left. We have our red zerg, heGEmOni. And spawning up in the top right hand position, we have our purple Protoss ShadowMamba. Now, who do you think's going to take the medal home in this game, Matt?
Honestly, it's a tough call. Both of these players have been quite active lately, practicing an awful lot, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see who does come out on top. Like, recently I'd have to say ShadowMamba's had the better form out of the players. Like, based on his Slugs performances, he's only really lost 1 or 2 games in his entire series of appearances for us. heGEmOni, not so often in clan appearances, but on ladder he's doing extremely well at the moment, pushing towards the top 8.
Yeah, it's always good to see a player pushing the top 8 in the clan. Hopefully he'll be able to show some of that zergy goodness today. Do very well.
Well, it does look as though ShadowMamba's going for a bit of a defensive start. He's got his pylon on the high ground, which is actually good. If he were to throw down a forge on the low ground, he could cancel it and actually wall in the pylon on the high ground, thus minimizing the area that any zerglings that come from, say, a really early pool, 6, 7 or 8, actually doing damage to that pylon. So actually I quite like that placement there to begin with.
I'm a little bit against the whole pull behind the mineral lines, especially when you can't get that surround with zerglings in the early game, so it can be taken out with some sort of early harassment behind the mineral lines. But I prefer to have it up on the other side of the hatch. That's personal preference, I think.
Indeed true. I believe it may just be for a relative sense of timing. You can get it down that little bit faster, get the lings out that little bit sooner. As we do see, heGEmOni's gone for pull first into expand, and currently he's producing just 4 zerglings, so these are probably going to go out, try and scout for this probe, which is currently hiding at the 3rd, try and deny some map vision, and perhaps even just check on the expansion, and if lucky, try get into the main and scout these gas timings for ShadowMamba.
Definitely. That Overlord's going to want to hightail it out of there pretty soon. If he's not careful, he's going to be taken out by something. It's never good to have an Overlord in a base.
Well, he does have about a minute or so of leeway left before the cybernetics core does come down. And one interesting factor about ShadowMamba's wall-in here, it isn't a tight wall-in, but it can be held by 1 zealot. However, it is very susceptible to a roach burst or a baneling burst based on this 1 pylon here actually acting as part of the wall, making it very, very susceptible to baneling, zergling all-ins, or some kind of early roach pressure.
Definitely, I mean, seeing that pylon there and doing a 2-base play, I would definitely be considering some sort of baneling push against that pylon. I mean, pylons don't have the most health in the world, especially compared to a gateway, which has about 5 times the amount of health. So, I mean, the cyber core behind it. In fact, is that completely walled off now with that cyber core? It looks like it has.
No, it's not. There should be enough room for 1 zealot to get through.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you select between the cyber core and the gateway, you can see there's just that little bit of space, same as there is between the gateway and the pylon. So he is actually going to have to be very careful with his first zealot here, because if he sends it out in the map, he could give away some very quick and easy scouting information.
Definitely.
Should this zergling patrol actually decide he wants to try and brave the base.
Being a little bit of a wuss in zergling standards, not wanting to run in there. Although the timing on the 3rd is...
But it is only 1 zergling, so the cannon would actually kill it immediately.
Ah, brave the cannon. They only do like 1 million damage. 20 damage, sorry.
Now, I do like this from heGEmOni. At his natural, he's actually throwing down both gas geysers, and this could actually be indicative of anything. He could be going for roaches, he could be going for a quick lair, he could even just be getting zergling speed out of this, but because they're at the natural, and there are 2 queens out and about, this scouting probe that's moving in towards the base is not going to get vision of the two geysers that just went up in the main. So, for all he knows, they could just be those two gas geysers.
Yeah, that is true. At this point in the game, you'd have to assume your Zerg's going for some sort of gas play. It's around now where you want to start setting up for your roaches or any sort of tech you're doing, really. He hasn't really shown his hand on what he's going to be going as tech-wise, anyway. The 4 gas, I'd be expecting to see some sort of roach infester play. Oh, roach warren. He's probably going for some
Evo
sort of
chamber
roach
and a roach
max out.
warren.
Putting the roach warren and the Evo down when he's going for his lair. Generally, that's the sort of Stefano's sort of way of doing it. So, very curious to see how he continues going with this.
But he may have been too greedy. These spine crawlers are late, and there is a 7-gate pressure about to hit, and Zergling speed is not even done.
This could end in actual just dead right now. He has absolutely nothing to stop this.
heGEmoni's in a lot of trouble. He may have just been way too greedy. The queen goes down at the natural, the drones all going behind the mineral line. And why those drones haven't started either running or attacking the zealots, I don't know, but very quick GG, game 1.
Definitely. I'd be expecting if he was going for a roach play to put that gas down a couple of minutes sooner and put out, 6 or so roaches just to do some sort of defense to wait for units. But coming from a Zerg standpoint, just look how close those bases are. Just look how close they are. I mean, like, your bases, not, your opponent's base. But you've got a mega close and easy to defend natural, a third which is like just down the street, and then you've got your whole 4th base which is right next to your main. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more. I mean, as someone who doesn't do very good creep spread, this is super easy to, get into one big creep blob. I am very, very, very good. Well, not good, but glad he chose this map.
Well, that does make sense. Would you care to do the introduction, sir?
Ah, of course. Spawning up in our top left-hand position, we have our purple Protoss ShadowMamba. And down in our bottom right-hand position, we have the blue Zerg heGEmOni, who is currently down 1 game, but he could easily bring it back with a solid play in this game.
Well then, you're a Zerg. In heGEmoni's position, what would you be going for? Would you try and go for the same build that you did the last game, or would you try and mix it up, go for something a little bit more aggressive, something perhaps a little bit less greedy? What would you modify from your play in the previous game?
I think perhaps what I would try to do is probably play a little more aggressive. I think I'll go for some sort of Ling play. I mean, it all depends on what my opponent was doing, but seeing a forge opening on this map and whatnot, I'd probably want to go some sort of 3 base, but a little, not as greedy. Play it a little bit safer, get a spine crawler or 2 if I have to, just to be safe, and do some sort of probably roach hydra play, depending on what the composition of my opponent's doing. Because roach hydra is just something really easy to fall back on for a really strong mid-game attack. And you should be able to get your corruptors out before any sort of colossi numbers come up. It's the really sort of free win button against Protoss, I guess. So it's the sort of stuff I'd be expecting to see from heGEmOni. Or Ling attack. Just kill him with Lings. That's always an option too.
Okay. Well, honestly, given he's gone for his pool first, I'm curious as to whether he's just going to stick with these 4 Zerglings, or if he's going to try and be a bit more aggressive. What I'd like to see him go for this game, in heGEmoni's case, is get his gas that little bit faster, even just throw down his first gas now, because with an early pool you want to have the early Zergling speed, otherwise it completely nullifies the point of getting the pool in the first place.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And with that early speed he could perhaps deny or delay any kind of push or pressure that would happen.
Yeah, I mean, if he's expecting some sort of early play, if he sees that sort of thing coming, the Ling speed is definitely going to help him shut that down. But I think if he goes for some sort of 5 to 6 minute gas, 5.5 minutes, throw the gas down, he should easily be able to defend against the same sort of 6-gate play. I mean, it's not all... In fact, from what I'm seeing now, it's pretty much what I'd be expecting to see from somebody of a higher league doing the Stefano Roach Max. So I'd be expecting to see gas to come down in the next minute, minute and a half, and then for him to go 1 Roach, 1 Evo, and, you know, start to do that sort of build, really.
Okay, well, that's definitely interesting that you mentioned that, because it was around the 6-minute mark that he took his 2 gases last time. It looks as though he may be pushing towards that timing for getting them again. What I'd like to see him do is perhaps get a slightly faster layer, or try and throw down his gases now and go for a quicker ling speed, because another vulnerability of this kind of build is you can face up against a 4-gate, and given both of the Nexi are complete and there is a lot of chrono boost available on the Nexus in the main, he could non-stop chrono boost out his 4-gate to hit at about 7 minutes.
Definitely. I mean, it's starting to get to that point where if he doesn't throw down his gas, he's going to be playing a lot of a greedy game, I guess. I'd be expecting maybe a 3rd gas geyser to go down now, and that would really solidify for me that he's doing a Roach max out timing. If he throws that down, sometime with a lair. He hasn't yet, he's making a fool of me. What's he doing?
Well, speaking of early gas timings, or 3rd gas timings, the Protoss has just finished his 3rd gas, and this could be very heavily indicative of some kind of robo-gateway pressure, or he could be going for some kind of slightly delayed Colossus tech and opt for this faster 3rd base.
That could be
because
something.
One thing, as you mentioned, on this base it is actually very easy to defend both your natural and your 3rd. By this grassy and rocky outcrop, you can actually plant your army slightly above that, duck down to the left to defend your 3rd, or just stay where you are and push to the right to defend your natural. Getting a 3rd base on this map is actually quite easy for Protoss.
Definitely. It's a very good... I think this map lends very well to macro games, as we're seeing from this right now.
Indeed it does.
So we've got our 1 Evo and a Roach Warren going down. Any second now we should be seeing either +1 attack or armor, and I'll be expecting to see some Roaches pop out in the next 30 seconds as well.
Well, we do see the 4 gateways in Robo. We should... Whoa, 5 and 6 gates. Interesting.
Ooh.
Usually off of this many gateways, you would expect there to be some kind of push towards the 3rd base, get a warping of sentries at your ramp, and then a small Stalker Zealot Immortal force to push out and take your 3rd. But going up to 6 gateways, 7 gateways now, is he going to go for a delayed Immortal sentry all in?
I think he is. I mean, he's got a lot of gas stockpiled. This sort of attack is very, very strong against the Roach build, and quite honestly, it counters it. So, unless we're going to be seeing some Ling numbers, it's going to go pretty poorly for heGEmOni, I think. It's going to be a quick 2-0 series.
But we do see that heGEmOni has the Watchtower, his saving grace in all this. So he's going to see these Immortals, he's going to see the army coming, and by moving out this early, we see that ShadowMamba does not have a Warp Prism to push with his army. So if these Immortals can be taken out, he's actually going to lose a huge advantage and could perhaps even lose the game flat out.
He could, definitely. If he's able to take out those Immortals, then he will be able to win this. But he's only just about to get Ling speed, and he doesn't have very many on the map right now. So it's going to be a bit of a difficult engagement. So we've got 20 Lings now on the way. This might just be enough for him to be able to...
He does have a decent number of Zealot. But we do see heGEmOni, he sees everything. He sees that pylon, he knows that there's a push coming, and what he needs to do now is just spam that Zergling button, push the roaches towards the top of his ramp, get the lings up near the destructible rocks by his third, and sandwich this army.
Oh!
Because if he manages to snowball out of control here, then he is going to lose. Very nice push there.
Oh, why did he pull out? Why did he pull out? He could have taken down that army then. He was right in the spot where he had to be.
And, oh, this is not going well for ShadowMamba. The army's been surrounded.
He's taking out the Immortals.
And these sentries are out of energy. There are no force fields left. And that's it. This army is going to just evaporate from now on.
Definitely. There's definitely not enough there to take this army out.
Transfuses even going down on these weakened roaches. A new Immortal arriving just in time to be slaughtered by speedlings.
Very good hold there from heGEmOni. Looked pretty
Beautiful
bad
hold.
for him when he pulled out at the wrong time then. I thought he was going to lose.
And if ShadowMamba is not careful, he's going to lose this Immortal as well. He needs to turn around and attack this roach. But no, he's actually just going to lose the Immortal.
Free Immortal there. Now the question is heGEmOni going to try to push up that ramp and take the game now? Or is he going to stay back and try to secure that fourth?
Well, he's put the fourth down, so it could well be that with that and his macro hatch building inside his... Where's that macro hatch building? There it is, by the third. I'm not going blind. But we have a macro hatch by the third, we have the +1 carapace, and 14 Mutalisks underway.
Whoa. Now, as a few people may have heard me ranting on, I'm not a big fan of the Mutalisk. I don't know. I think he could have benefited from going straight to Infestors right now. But if he's able to get those Mutalisks in the main, where there's absolutely no defenses for them, even in the natural, he's going to be able to do a catastrophic amount of damage. I mean, 14 Mutalisks make pretty quick work of probes. But
well, look at the Twilight Council. It's researching charge, not blink. So these Mutalisks, if the Stalker's in a better position, and they will be because they have to now defend this third, he can actually get into the main and do a tremendous amount of damage, perhaps even snipe this Robo facility and this Templar Archives.
It is definitely very possible. Because his army's a long way from being able to help that, and he does have Warpins available, but these Mutalisks can do a lot of damage before anything can finish.
And here come the Mutas. Storm has not been started, so it looks as though he's going to go for probe damage here. But the smart option here would be to deny tech or even try to take out this Nexus, and that's what's happening.
It's taking out the Templar
Goodbye,
Archives.
Templar Archives.
That is a very good snipe there. Question is he going to be able to get out of here safely? It looks like he will be able to. Oh, trying to engage that Archon,
magic box the
snipes
Archon,
it down.
and he gets it.
That is a lot right now. Does ShadowMamba have any High Templar left? No, he doesn't. He turned them all into Archons. So that's
That he
pretty
did.
costly now.
So he does have charge, which is his only saving grace in this, but with no blink, he's going to have to stay home and play defensively in case these mutas come back. Meanwhile, that leaves the third open to this massive Zergling counterattack.
Oh my god, this is going to do a lot of damage. It might even be able to take this base out. All these probes will definitely die though. Mutalisks in the main, Zerglings at the third.
Meanwhile, the shields have been taken away from the Nexus. And the Mutalisks are just turning around. They're going for it. They managed to snipe one Stalker, get a couple of hits off on the Zealots, but smartly run away because one misclick and you do lose a lot of mutas to that Archon.
That Archon doing 43 damage to biological. That's like what? That's 3 hitting.
Meanwhile, we see heGEmOni has put down his 5th base in the bottom left-hand position, and he's starting to saturate with drones. His main is almost mined out. I'd like to see him transfer some of these drones from his main, because he's currently mining pretty much 3 mineral patches with a full complement of drones. But looking at his main, we do see that
Great Aspire.
we have the Crackling upgrade, +2 Carapace, and Greater Spire. We're going to see some Broodlords.
Who doesn't like to see
And a lane run by into the natural.
Oh, this game
Just-
has got to be over.
Just tap out now.
What can you do? You can't
This game
base
is
race
over.
against this. I don't know why ShadowMamba is trying to push it.
Well, he is going to get here before these spine crawlers finish, which is a saving grace for him, but frankly, all heGEmOni has to do is take these drones from his 4th and 5th and send them to different corners of the map and just build some hatcheries.
He's opted
Bringing
to
back
pull
these
half of
mutalisks
the
to defend is
mutalisks.
absolutely the wrong choice.
What is he doing? These
The whole
mutalisks are simply gonna die.
The whole purpose of going for mutas, is you want to force the Protoss into a base race scenario. When that happens, you have won the game.
This is not good. He should
And
not be
he's bringing
engaging
back the
this army.
Zerglings as well.
He does have a lot of roaches though. He might be able to take this down, but I don't think this is the right idea here. He could have just won with a base race.
But the game is over because ShadowMamba just lost his last probe.
GG. In a very unconventional manner, I guess.
Well, obvious choice. You become Chuck Norris. The
Exactly.
snake will bite you. After 5 or 6 days of agonizing pain, the snake will die.
Honey Badger don't care. I believe it's your turn to do some character introductions this time.
Oh, do I have to?
Yes,
Fantastic.
yes, you do.
On this wonderful map, currently tying up the series 1-1 after that spectacular Ling Muta base race with some rather unconventional decision making, in the rather not so Christmassy blue, we do have Fusion Slugs heGEmOni.
Oh yeah.
And in the bottom left-hand position, spawning us the slightly more festive colour, purple. He's got half of the red there, so we'll give him the advantage here. We have probably going for an Immortal Sentry all-in if he knows what's good for him on this map. It is Fusion Slugs ShadowMamba.
Hells yeah. This map is custom built for Immortal Sentry all-in. It is a terrible third to try to defend. I mean, if he doesn't go for it, we'll be shocked.
But at the same time, while it may be custom built for Immortal Sentry, it's also custom built for Ling Hydra Nidus, which is in fact the direct counter to Immortal Sentry.
Ooh, I do like my Hydralisks. I think if I could pick one unit to become, it would be the Hydralisk.
Well, while we have a bit of downtime before heGEmOni decides if he's going to go all in off of this very early pool or not, what do you think of the announcement that the Hydra speed upgrade is going to be on Lair Tech in Heart of the Swarm now?
I could not be happier. I mean, I didn't like it being on the Hive Tech. I thought, in all honesty, Hydralisks, they need that upgrade. I mean, you don't see some sort of, I don't know, I guess, restriction towards the Terran or Protoss upgrades for that sort of thing. You don't see them when they want to get Storm. You don't have to build, I don't know, well, I can't think of it because it's the last unit in the chain. But, you know, you don't need a higher level of something to get a unit upgrade. Like, you don't need 3 barracks to get the Marauder attack or Stim. So, why should Zerg be punished in that manner with their Hydralisks?
True.
I mean, having faster Hydralisks isn't necessarily going to make them imbalanced. It's just going to make them be used more. And they've never been a super strong unit, and I guess because people haven't seen them, they might complain. But really, their counters are pretty drastic. I mean, anybody who's killed Hydralisks with a Colossi knows that it's pretty easy to do.
Well, even Stalkers in low enough numbers can take out Hydras, provided the Hydras have no unit support.
Indeed.
And we do see that heGEmOni is complaining about the range of a photon cannon, which almost, without moving, managed to kill off an Overlord. But the Overlord's going to find that safe zone inside the back of the base, and quite possibly will go up to that little pedestal, which in of itself is a good thing to do. And what do you think about these pedestals on each of these maps by the third, usually by the fifth or sixth bases as well?
I like them. I think it's a good spot to chuck your overlords. I mean, your overlords got to be somewhere. Why not chuck them on the little pedestals so they can't be attacked by stalkers and that? It's a good little, I guess, gimmick to give the zergs things every now and then. I like it. It's a nice little part for our map control as well.
It does give them a nice advantage for vision. I also find that those pedestals will give you quite a nice indication of which tech route the Protoss has gone, be it Stargate or Observer.
Oh, most
Because if
definitely.
they've gone for Robo, you're going to know because suddenly units can attack you. If they've gone for Stargate, you're going to know because there's a Void Ray that's going to eat all of your overlords unless you get them back to base in now.
Yeah, most definitely. It especially that pedestal behind the natural. I mean, you can see one of the gas guys is there, and all you have to do is poke out a little bit, and you can see the other one. So it really does give you a lot of map vision for what that Protoss is doing early game. And with this much gas, it looks like it could be a
does, and
century
this
or more.
Overlord. I don't think so. We have a Twilight Council complete. We have almost 250 gas stocked up. We're going to see some DTs.
Oh, you called it. DT.
And there's the Dark Shrine. This Overlord at the bottom needs to start scouting immediately. Because while this may look like a standard 4-gate, this Dark Shrine is actually in a perfect position to do some serious damage. All that remains to be seen is a probe going to get somewhere near the 4th base and avoid this scouting lane? If he can do that, he is actually going to be able to have DTs in all 3 bases before any significant tech can be up.
That is the
now,
question.
He is going to have his lair slightly faster than previous games, which is going to be an advantage. So a DT rush here will not kill him outright. However, he is almost guaranteed to take out the 3rd. Oh, it's moving. It's going to see it.
He's seen
or
it.
Is it?
Has he seen it? He hasn't clicked on the building. I don't think he saw it. He's pretty blind to it. I don't think he knows.
He saw something small building. He may have thought it was just a pylon.
It does look like a pylon when you look at the dead vision.
Well, the lair is complete, and there are no overseers currently being morphed.
He got the second overlord in. He has seen that it's a dark shrine. And we have spore crawlers going down right now. That was by far the luckiest scout he's seen. We have an overseer as well.
Indeed, we have a spore being built at every base and an extra overseer.
Very good scout.
Very fortunate scout.
Yes.
And these 2 DTs arrived just in time to say, "Hello, Queen."
Oh, they do so much damage!
Warp blades with a +1 upgrade, 50 damage apiece. Thank you very much, sir.
50 damage. That is a lot of damage.
And people thought Immortals were imbalanced.
We do have a warp prism as well now on the field. Maybe doing us some warping.
Well, this Warp Prism is probably going to move up, harass the main, because his creep spread has actually been quite poor. So, barring this gas geyser, he can't actually see anything that warps in. And, correct me if I'm wrong, but from where that gas geyser is on the left, if a DT were to start attacking the drones near there, I'm pretty sure the spine crawler cannot see it.
No, it wouldn't be able to. That spore crawler is pretty far off to the side. But there is, actually, I think he could...
And we do see 4 DTs have just loaded into the Warp Prism, and it is moving up towards the main.
Here we go, get the Jaws music going. Dun-dun. Oh, had to take for a coffee break. Alright, it's going back.
Well, I do like his decision here to actually expand on the back of this, Because 4 DTs, if they go unnoticed, even if they are attacked by the spine crawler, they can take out the spawning pool.
Oh.
They could take out most things, but oh god!
Completely
that is not what you
spotted.
want to do.
That is an inappropriate use of DTs.
That was unfortunate. He waited too long. Had he just gone for the spawning pool, tried to snipe it and got out, he would have had a guaranteed kill on that before the army could have arrived.
Definitely.
And we do see more DTs arriving, being morphed into Archons, interestingly enough.
Archons are a good unit.
And I feel he's just going to continue this harassment and then push into the natural, because we do see Mutalisks have come out again.
Indeed.
And versus this many Archons, these Mutalisks are not going to be very effective.
They will be about as useful as a jacket in winter. No, summer. Damn, so close. So close.
About as useful as a chocolate fireguard.
Yep, there we go.
And we do see that the Zealots do have charge, which actually a extremely strong upgrade even against speed roaches. Because anytime the Zealots do charge, they're guaranteed a hit. And with these DTs mixed in, the DTs are actually able to do a significant amount of damage.
Is it going to be enough,
But it could just be that there's too many roaches here.
Mutalisks are also able to take out that warp prism, and now they're starting to harass this newly formed third. We do have a DT chilling up there. He knows
They're actually
where it
going
is
to
be
deny
safe.
any kind of scouting over here.
At the moment, that DT is probably the safest.
We do
unit
see
in the game.
that... Yeah, quite probably. It's not like Widow Mines. Widow Mines do not have the same effect as those glaive bouncers.
Oh, Widow Mines. They are terrifying. Oh, we're going to get a free Mutalisk! Yes, they did. Archons are a good unit.
And meanwhile, the army is out of position, so these mutants are going to have free reign on the probes in the main, which, interestingly enough, is not saturated.
Definitely.
But we have some photon counts being built at the third. Quite possibly I'd like to see one built slightly towards the back of the mineral line, just to deny where the mutants will eventually end up. But this is a terrifying army moving across the map.
That is a gigantic Zerg army right now.
He is maxed out, and these Archons, oh god, they're out of position!
Oh, those poor
there are
Archons!
three Archons!
Those Archons will go down.
The pathing.
Very unfortunate.
I do feel sorry for the pathing. And this Archon core at the front is actually going to get focused on as well. The Immortal at the back not doing anything!
That Archon, the luckiest Archon in the world, surviving with 30 health. Mutalisk getting free reign, destroying all probes in the main, and doing significant damage in the natural as well.
Quite impressive, given there's only 3 of them left.
Definitely, they're definitely getting the payment.
But
that
they
deserve.
are going to get picked off here by these Stalkers now. And he doesn't have Blink. Blink is not finished.
Still no blink.
Indeed, we're at the 17-minute mark, and we do see that heGEmOni is pushing his advantage, getting a 4th and a 5th expansion at the moment. Has he built his macro hatches? He's got one of them. He has yet to build his 2nd macro hatch. So I feel he actually felt he could have finished the game with that push, or at least taken out the 3rd.
Quite honestly,
But
I'm surprised that 3rd stayed up, actually.
Well, he tried to push into a very, very narrow choke, and with that many charge zealots and Archons and Stalkers shooting at you, it's not a particularly cost-effective way to try and attack. However, we do see that heGEmOni has quite a lot of money saved up, so he can easily go into his Infest attack. He could go into his Corruptors, his Broodlords quite happily from here, provided he continues to pressure with Zerglings and with Roaches. And that's what he's doing.
Into the natural.
All he has to do is just keep sniping all of these units. The Lings run by, and they're going to get this Colossus!
Oh! No! If that Colossus didn't have +3 attack, would these roaches be able to get it? No, they're just walking into the base to say hi.
The roaches say hello,
Ooh.
and the final shot gets it before hello.
A million
Did you know that there
mutilisks.
were 17 mutilisks currently on the field just wanting to say hello?
I did not see that coming. Mutalisk opting to
Well,
get
that's
out of
definitely what we call a rude surprise. And this Stalker currently shooting some Zerglings, which are very politely holding position here at the natural, rather than trying to kill these probes. And finally, they get finished off by the army.
Quite
But there is a massive number of Mutilisks ready to push into the main. They're going to snipe off this Robo Bay, they're going to snipe the Dark Shrine. And interestingly, he's continuing his Dark Templar for these extra Archons, but...
Oh, will he be able to pick off this Archon?
Oh god!
Oh!
He gets it!
Free Archon!
A free Archon, always the Zerg's favourite Christmas gift of choice, and meanwhile, another Archon disobeying the pathing laws and getting picked off.
Definitely, I mean...
But these Blinkstalkers do actually take out these roaches, which, while they have taken out 2 gateways, they haven't actually done any economic damage. But in the main, these Mutilisks have free reign. There are 5 Stalkers which are going to get picked off. They need to run away if possible, but there's no time. They try to run,
These Mutilisks are doing a
and
lot of
they
damage.
do get reinforced. That they do. Back in the Zerg space, we see that there are another 14 Mutilisks in production. If it worked once, why not do it again?
Definitely. I'd like to see him get some upgrades for these Mutilisks. I mean, he's not low on cash. Spend your money. Get some upgrades. It's obvious you're investing in him. Oh, he's losing some to an unfortunate rally.
Well, that is quite unfortunate, losing an Overlord as well. But we do see there is quite a large number of mutants just chasing these probes away. And slowly but surely, he is nibbling down the Protoss army. He's forced into the base race.
Will he fall back to try to reinforce this time? He doesn't have the Ling numbers
He
that
doesn't
did
need
last
to.
time.
All he has to do is just spawn a massive number of Zerglings and or Roaches, and he should be fine. Meanwhile, we do see that the Mutilisks are going to kill off all the probes, perhaps kill off the cannons and the cyber core, and then after that he should just be fine to pull the mutants back, take out the army, and then very quick GG.
Definitely.
I do like Shadow's decision to go for this 4th base at the bottom before the 3rd, however, because it was the freshest mining base, and quite easily the least defended, but he is completely all in at this point. He has no production, he has no money, he has enough to throw down a pylon and an assimilator. So pretty much what he has now is exactly what he's got. And these roaches are frankly going to do enough damage. They're going to take out this immortal. They're probably going to take out these stalkers, but anything that's left over is going to be enough for these mutants to kill.
GG.
Good game. 2-1 to heGEmOni.
A very good comeback there from heGEmOni. I wasn't quite sure if he was going to be able to take the series after that first game. But he came back and he smashed it, really. Damn Mutilisks. I have a different view on them now after those 2 games. I've gone from hating them to think they're a valid unit.